That's a lot of dice.
60d20. We'll be starting shortly, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're just waiting on a few players to sign in.
And I just received an email notification that Dungeon Dwellers is live. I really needed the notification. I wasn't sure.
Really?
Thank you, Sass Mistress.
It says, I see you seeing this notification. Click it. Click it now.
Yeah, that's our illustrious channel host.
What do I do if I'm already here, though?
You just enjoy the show. And sorry about the audio for a second, guys. I'm just bringing up my copy of the stream. 1 second.
Echo.
Nope, still
I don't
muted.
like that when I go to the stream that it now makes me like pick a chat. Like I liked before when I just went and there was just one chat.
Well, one's up on here.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, I only just saw that.
So we're not playing the 26th, right? That's the Knights of Dice show?
Yeah, 26th
Yes.
is Knights of Dice at 6:30 Eastern.
Around the 2nd, 16th. Are we on the 30th?
There's that.
That's the plan.
I will likely not make the stream on the 30th. It depends on what my flight is. But I'll be flying back from Gamers for Giving on the 30th. I'm out that whole weekend. I'm going to be in Michigan the 25th through the 30th.
Okay. Well, I hope you have fun.
So, just a heads up. I don't know what time our return flight is on the 30th, so I might be able to make it Sunday, but I want to be precautious.
Well, thank you for the heads up.
Might not happen.
And our paladin should be on shortly.
Yay!
If anybody's in chat out there, can you tell me how loud the music is? And yes, I know you
That
can
sounds
hear the
like a
stream,
decent
Josh.
volume.
It's working for you?
Yep.
Okay. Well, if it gets too loud at any point, just let me know. We don't seem to be dropping any frames, so that's nice. Well, there's enough of us. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Manny can join us in progress. Could be slightly quieter. Okay. I'll make an adjustment.
Every time I pull up my notes now, this is what I see.
Yeah. I still have the Google Docs open. I've been adding to it a little bit at a time.
Oh my.
But it's right there. One of my tabs says tender calibrations.
Oh, Lord.
Although once I transfer everything over to my new notebook I got, I will no longer have this unless I just paste it in, which I probably
And
will.
we all know who's buying the first copy of that book.
Oh yeah.
It's for our book club, you know.
Yeah, book club is important. All right, let me go ahead and get Manny slotted in, and we'll get started.
Woo.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hero Complex. Thank you for joining us for the Dungeon Dwellers show. We are always happy to have you here. Still sort of recovering from the most recent relocation here, so bear with me while I pull my notes together. But as I recall, previous weeks we had a little excitement in our adventures finally coming to a head as you guys moved to a new city in El Terrell. And in the meantime, just let's cover a couple of quick announcements. As soon as iTunes randomly gets off my screen, what on earth? Get out of the way of my notes, Apple.
Yay,
not-
iTunes.
This is not good timing, guys.
Hate
I'm
iTunes.
in the middle of something. Thank you. Okay. So, Tales from the Sanguine Isles, still every single Wednesday, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. You can also find our new Knights of Dice, same time slot as us, but every other week, so you can see them next week. Anything in particular you guys want to bring up or say? Anything you want to plug in particular?
Nope. I'm pretty on the download this time.
Sounds good.
Sarah, your sound's off.
You're muted, Sarah.
Better?
Is she muted?
Yeah, there we go.
I hear somebody shuffling or crinkling paper.
I think that's Manny.
That's Manny.
That's Manny? Okay.
I need candy.
I think Manny has snacks.
Snacks. Okay, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm
Okay.
next. Okay,
Fair enough.
I'm good.
What were you saying, Sarah?
Oh, I was saying I would plug the LAN I'm going to, but Gamers for Giving sold out of tickets within 2 hours, so
Wow. You should
Wow.
still talk about it, because that's awesome.
it's a charity event. Gamers for Giving is the LAN party hosted by Gamers Outreach, and all of the proceeds go to building go-karts, which are little mobile Xbox carts that are donated to Children's Hospital so that long-term patients have access to video games and something to do with their time when they can't leave the hospital.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Love it. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it.
It definitely
excited
sounds like
because my
something worth
second year
giving to.
going.
So are you going there as a participant or for business?
I am going as a participant. Last year I went as a representative for my company because we sponsor them. But this year I'm just going as a participant. We'll see if Josh lets me stream. I could stream all weekend.
That'd be cool.
So many video games. Just play like absurd amounts of PUBG. That's it. That's all I got.
Well, alright.
Let's play some D&D.
Let's dive back in then. So, guys, where last we left our story, all of you were sitting around a table discussing joining the secret society known as the Harpers, a group of concerned adventurers, citizens, members of the magical and non-magical community, bards and rogues and knights of all caliber who have an interest in keeping the countryside safe, sometimes from itself, sometimes from outside threats. Um, you have been welcomed into their ranks after a conversation with Leos and Erlenthar, and with other members of the little group that you were speaking with. I believe the other... Just a second, for some reason keeps not showing the right... There we go. Ontharr Froom was the other you were speaking to, who was there representing the Order of the Gauntlet.
Didn't you arm wrestle someone?
Say what?
Didn't Othar want to arm wrestle someone? Do we need to pick up with like fighting him?
You were actually Jarrell was playing cards with him, as I recall.
Feeding me all this candy. Try to make me fat.
I didn't understand a word that Manny just said.
Neither did I.
Trying to get me fat. She keeps giving me all this good candy.
It's okay. I'm making her sense.
I actually lost like 5 or 6 pounds this week, man. I just quit drinking soda and like right off the bat, I just dropped 5 or 6 pounds.
It definitely
Yeah,
helps. The sugar is filled with empty calories.
Yeah.
We say as I take a sip from my sample.
I'll do it on the weekend sometimes. It's just not regular for me. I was kind of just hitting it a little too hard, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
know
have
the
to kind of
feeling.
like, you know.
Yeah, I've eliminated it from my diet as well. It helps.
Really, the only one I ever drink is ginger ale every now and again, or root beer.
Ginger ale's good. It's better for you.
Now, the top concern, after much discussion between the monk and paladin before you, is several things. But the most concerning thing that has brought them together in particular, under the banner of the Harpers, at least quietly, is this business with the Cult of the Dragon, which is what brought you here in the first place. And that's where we'll pick back up the discussion that you were having with Leos and with Ontharr. Now, at the moment, you are in a back room that is being served by one of the squires to Ontharr Froom. That way, that you still have access to food and drink, but he's a trustworthy sort, at least as far as he appears, and Ontharr appears to vouch for him, since he's letting him come and go and provide refreshment. So,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Moraruk was just like sitting at the back of the group, not saying anything, right? Like she hasn't actually interacted.
she hasn't said anything yet,
Okay.
except to just sort of generally agree that it's best to do something about these dragons. That was the
Non-verbal agreement.
yeah, it was more like a grunt or a nod or something. I don't remember the specifics of your nonverbal agreement.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you're still keeping that stoic exterior.
It's really more like terrified introvert, but you know, stoic sounds better.
That sounds good. That works.
It's what it looks
Go
like on the
stoic.
outside. It's like a duck. It's like a duck on a pond. On the surface, it looks very serene. Underneath, it's oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Pretty much. This is Moraruk all the time.
Basically.
All right. Apparently, I'm not dropping any frames, but I did get a message saying that the stream's apparently a little choppy, but at least the audio is clear. So there's that. Well, I'm sorry to hear it's a little choppy out there.
It looks a little choppy on my end.
Does it? Okay. Let me see if I can make an adjustment. Yeah, it's broadcasting in full 1080. I think I might have to take it off and scale it back a little bit. Alright. Okay, I'm just going to take us offline very briefly so I can adjust the output and get us back down to something a little more manageable, maybe 720, and see if that solves the problem. We will be right back. And we're back. You're right, Josh. It would not be Dungeon Dwellers if we didn't have some kind of technical issue. Fortunately, that is the worst one we've had so far, and even on my end, it's starting to look smoother. What do you think?
Dice.
Calibrate.
Well, so far, Moraruk is in the lead. Does anybody else want to roll 60 d20 and see who gets their inspiration for today?
60d20, oh my.
Die command is /die space 60d20. Or you can just pick it up and click a whole mess of times. And
So
That's
what's
the fun
the
way to
command
do
again?
it.
/die space 60d20.
But I just roll 1. Oh man.
Oh my
That doesn't
god,
look
really?
good for me today.
Sorry. Sir Arik, right about that
dying
time,
tonight, guys.
right about that time, your chair just splits, falls out from under you, fall and break your neck. Reroll his character. No, we're not going to play like that. Seriously
ways to
though, go ahead and roll, and we'll see if you get advantage, or not advantage, inspiration for this game.
How do I do it again? Where do I do it?
In the dice box, you can pick up and roll 60 d20s, or you can instead just type it, and it'll save you some clicking.
Like the dice box down on the bottom?
You see where the dice are? If you pick up the d20 and you right-click it once, there will be 2 of them, and then you right-click it again and 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 again. And you just keep doing that until you run out of space.
Yeah. We literally only started doing this because we thought it was funny to pick the dice up and then right-click it until you couldn't right-click it anymore.
It turns out the maximum number of dice you can pick up is 60.
Nice.
It's a little terrifying when you see them all go on screen.
Yeah. I know, it's frightening.
It's like the birds, except with dice.
Sarah, you get inspiration for the evening.
Are you going to take it away from me for being sassy?
Do you want me to?
No, but I'm still salty about that.
You had inspiration twice over. I took away the extra one from you because you can't have more than one inspiration at a time.
Whatever.
Get over it. Now, you're in town. You are sitting in the back room. You can hear the sounds of merriment from the other side of the door, but as the door closes and the squire brings in the rest of your meat and drink and begins providing you a meal, Ontharr Froom leans in, setting one of his gauntleted arms on the edge of the table as he lifts his ale with the other. So, the Cult of the Dragon, what can you tell me? What have you learned? We've been able to pick up several things, but our main interest so far has been trying to see what we can learn as to if they are trying to bring back their unholy focus on creating Draco Liches, but if it... There doesn't seem to be as much from what little we've been able to discern. We've spent our time fighting the cult where we find them, of course, but there's been no sign of any kind of attempt to make a dragon phylactery, at least not yet.
We did uncover some dragon eggs when we disbanded their camp, which was of course disconcerting. But of course we stomped them.
They
What kind did you
seem to
find?
they seem to be fascinated with black dragons.
Yes.
Black dragons. Interesting. But Leosin, you said that there was a blue dragon that had attacked it. Leosin just sits to the side a bit and says, well, yes. Multiple
Yeah, there was.
types of dragon working together. That's strange.
We also faced a blue half dragon.
Sometimes powerful members of the cult are elevated because of their talent or their raw power or their devotion. The most powerful, some of them are literally half-dragon, like that creature you fought before. I heard reports of him. What did happen to the half-dragon? Did he escape?
He died.
Yeah, we killed him.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's something at least. That's a blow.
Yeah, we killed him. We took care of the eggs. Took a fair amount of the loot that they had gathered together, because they were gathering together a lot of like gold and valuables from the village.
Really?
Yeah.
How much of it did you manage to return to the villagers?
A fair amount, but it didn't seem like all of it.
So they did make off with some.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where they're carrying it to. We've yet to find any kind of centralized base of operation. There's a rumor that, at least among some of the cultists, that they seem to be focusing now on, rather than extending the life of a dragon into undeath, they seem to be focusing more now on living dragons and on Tiamat, which is a terrifying subject in and of itself. Bahamut
That
preserve us.
statue of Tiamat had a mustache. It had mustaches all over the heads.
What?
Not when we found them.
They don't need to know that.
I see.
He's talking of his artistic endeavors.
Oh. Oh, good for you.
I think it's more graffiti than artistic.
I'm sorry, Sarah, I couldn't hear you at all.
I think it's more graffiti than artistic.
It's modern art, you know. That's what all the hip artists these days are doing.
I must say I'm no artist, so I don't think I'm anyone to judge, but I know what I like, and seeing a statue of Tiamat defaced in that way, that's entertaining enough. Well, that aside, the cult is on the move, and they do seem to be up to something big. And at this point, Leosin chimes in. He says, yeah, the Harpers, and we've been liaising with Onthar's group, the Order of the Gauntlet, as well as with another group called the Emerald Enclave. Between the lot of us, well, we're trying to learn as much as we can. There's a great deal that we still don't know, except that they've shifted focus and they seem to be much more active than they've been in recent decades. What we can offer you, since we can't pay at the moment, but we can certainly offer additional help, and we can offer access. That much we can do. Pay will come. It typically does, especially in ventures like this, but once we can secure some funding, we'll certainly pass some your way. Now, other members and allies who are spread from all the way to through the south to Neverwinter, to Mirabar up in the north,
Good job.
Nashkel, and even Candlekeep. We have friends everywhere. Now, since you're going to be working with other Harpers at some point, you can recognize us by this. And he hands you a silver token across the table and sets down 4 of them, 1 for each of you. It's a small silver harp nestled between the horns of a crescent moon. Now, some people tend to wear these openly. Not everyone knows what they are. Others keep them concealed. I tend to wear mine around my neck, but sometimes I'll hide it because I don't want to lose it. Froome taps his gauntlet and shows where he's got his holy symbol displayed very prominently as the right-handed gauntlet of Torm, and shows, I've got symbol enough right here. But those little medals, they're definitely worth their weight and then some. And then there's this, and he pulls aside the flowing beard that spills out over the chest plate, and he shows he too wears a symbol of the Harpers, but hidden behind the beard, as he swishes it back into place. Now, you needn't join us if you don't wish. We certainly don't. We need people who are committed. There can be no half measures when you fight these kinds of forces, but given your interest, if you'll take these, we'll work with you, we'll support you, and when it comes down to it, we'll be there for you. In the meantime, do you have any questions for me? Anything that I can do to help set you on your way before we start pursuing other avenues?
Where's the best place to stop?
Well, Leosin's, and as he says that, just as he's about to speak, one of the squires runs in and says something quietly to Leosin in his ear. Leosin exchanges some quick, terse words with him, very, very quietly, and then the man runs out of the room again. I'm afraid I've just found some news. We have a lead, we think, on the treasure that was stolen. Not just from Greenest, but from other places all across the Southlands. It's heading north, and it's coming through this town.
How fortuitous.
Well,
Seems almost a little too good.
Well, part of the reason I wanted you to meet me here is because we thought it might be headed this way. This is one of the easiest trade spots to stop, and if they're trying to transport it safely, why not make it look like any other shipment? Just hire on caravan guards. If it was traveling across the wilds, anyone could take it. Anything could happen to it. No one would be the wiser.
Caravan guards, you say?
Say again?
Caravan guards, you say? That seems like something I would be able to do.
It's not a bad idea, certainly.
That is how I met my compatriots here.
True.
It'll be just like old times, just different.
The two Harpers look back and forth at one another and they lean in. So, what's your plan then? I like where you're headed with this.
See if we can get hired on as caravan guards.
That's basically the idea, yes.
You certainly look the part. And strapping young gentlemen such as yourselves, and ladies, I must say, you look quite fearsome and capable of your own. Thank you, Money. We appreciate the host.
Yay!
Well, I'll have one of my men arrange an introduction to the man who's heading the caravan. This definitely has possibilities. Now, the caravan won't be leaving for, what did he say, a day? Just another day, yes. Okay, so you have a little time. You can go get resupplied. You can look around, see what your next step might be. I'll see what I can find else out about this caravan, says Leosin. Maybe it'll be if there's more options, certainly it might be worth looking into. Can you meet me back here later tomorrow afternoon?
That
Yes,
sounds fun.
Yeah.
I
can
think
do
we
that.
can do that.
We'll say 2 bells past the midday sun.
That sounds good enough.
All right. Well, I'll be off then. Leosin stands up and says, "Good fortune to you all." And he leaves the room, leaving you alone with Ontharr Froom.
Oh, good night.
Ontharr seems to murmur a brief prayer, and the symbol of Torm on his gauntlet flashes with a warmth and light for just a moment. And the warmth seems to follow Leosin out the door. Gods go with him.
We booked rooms here, right? Last time?
You
Yes.
did. I believe you did right before I interrupted you. I apologize for pulling you aside. But we needed to speak. If you're looking out for anything to do in town, there are a number of shops and different things you might be able to look for additional support from. Follow the Kilntha River all the way up to the edge of the city. You'll be able to find any number of different merchants that you might be able to sell or purchase to.
Out of character, what time of day is it?
Right now, it is a little after lunch. The caravan's not supposed to leave until the first light the day after tomorrow. So I misstated that initially. But yeah, so you've got half a day, all day tomorrow, and then the caravan leaves.
All right then, I'm gonna go find me a bookstore.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna follow her just to want to make sure she's safe. So I'm gonna, yeah,
No, that's important.
Yep.
Okay.
Safety in numbers.
Oh, 100%.
Do any of you stay behind with Froom and play additional games or drink or discuss things?
I mean, I think Jarrell was the only one actually gaming with him. And winning, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing well. He was doing very well. Okay, so Morok and Jarell are just gonna stay at the end for now?
No, I was gonna see if there's a bestiary in town.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Well, as you both head down, as the group of you heads out the door and down the road, the streets are lined with shops in this part of town. This is the mercantile district. There are any number of different places to stop. Go ahead and make an investigation check, Valara.
I had to remember how to get there for a second. There we go. Oh. My investigation check went as well as investigating to find the investigation check.
It did not go well. It's true. It
I'm
takes
a little tired from the road, you know.
It takes you some time. You're wandering and wandering and wandering, and after maybe an hour and a half of this, just window shopping and looking around, you finally stumble your way past a store when suddenly you realize, oh, that's it. There's a large, very thick, almost frosted glass window, which, as you look through the panes, shows a bookshop, and you see hanging outside a sign called the Quillion's Page.
Alright, well, of course I'm going to go in.
All right. As you step in, there's a tall, sort of thin fellow with wispy white hair and a little goatee behind the counter. Hello, what can I do for you?
I'm looking for books on dragons.
Books on dragons. Well, then I have two questions. Are you looking fiction or non-fiction?
Non-fiction, preferably.
Right. He immediately spins on his heel and walks off down the row of stacks. A moment later, he says, "Aha! No. Yes, found it." He comes back, and he presents to you 3 tomes, which he sets on the shelf, each bound in varying shades of leather. Now, these are different studies by different scholars, with, of course, each their own theory. This is a study on the breathing and the breath weapons of chromatic dragons. Very interesting study of the chambered hearts of the great beasts, as well as the wings and different other bits of physicality. You will find this one for 25 gold. Now this one here, this is on the many uses and the many different applications of bits of dragon in alchemy and other sciences. This one contains many different useful things. You would find this a more advanced book, not for someone who didn't already have some degree of proficiency in alchemy, but if you were looking for 17 different uses of dragon's blood, or perhaps a way to distill the magical essence of their scales, or maybe perhaps even find a way to mount them onto armor, although there are different texts which deal with that in more detail, this one would run you 45 gold pieces, but well worth it, given the techniques and knowledge it represents. This one is a study on the metallic dragons, largely a religious text, but it's got quite a good bit of actual information in there. Things that you might need to know about their habits, their times that they have intervened in the history of the Sword Coast, some interesting anecdotes and historical tales. And this one is only 10 gold.
I'm definitely interested in the last two, but I also have a question. I'm looking for the news book in a series. This one's fiction.
Oh? Well, I'll set these aside for the moment then. He picks these up and sets them aside. So, what series will I be looking for you today? We've just gotten in several new arrivals.
So, shoot, what's the name of the series, Manny?
I don't know anything about that stuff.
Oh yeah, it is.
Just get your books. Book two.
So we're looking for the newest book in the Tender Calibration series.
I'm just escorting her for her protection. I wouldn't know anything about this kind of stuff.
I see. And this is just the one copy?
Just the one.
Well, you know, a lot of our travels, you know, we misplace stuff, things catch on fire randomly, so maybe just, you know, get a second one just in case.
Oh.
I'll pay for it, don't worry about it. It's on me.
Catch on. That's not likely to happen now, is it?
Shh, just
No,
put
like,
it
you
in
know,
there.
when you're by the campfire and maybe some of our fellow adventurers have had a little bit too much to drink and they knock the book.
Right.
It happens.
Right. Well, I suppose it does keep me in business when things like that happen. I'm very sorry to hear it, though. Do try to take care of your books, both of you.
Of course.
She'll do that. Yep.
All right.
Take care of it.
Just a moment.
I don't know how to read. So I don't even know if I even know how to read. So I just
You know how to read. You actually had to learn religious studies as part of being a paladin.
He's trying to lie.
I know.
Oh.
I'm trying my best to just lie to the guy, and I think I'm already making it awkward, and I think he's probably already picking up on the fact of what I'm doing. So I'm just
Yeah, make a deception check.
I mean,
Just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it.
Ooh.
All right. Well, I mean, things happen. It's very good that you're here to look out for her.
All the time. Yep.
You should always indulge your loved ones when they show an interest in great literature. Perhaps you should try it yourself. And he just walks off to the side.
I'm just protecting.
He's the hired help.
Yeah, I'm just the hired.
Whatever you say, dear. He comes back with a small stack of books. Well, you are quite lucky. I have the first 4 volumes right here.
Get
We
four,
have the
just
first
in case.
2, so
Okay, well,
I'll definitely take books 3 and 4 though.
books 3 and 4.
Yes, I already have the first 2.
Well, they're typically 5 gold apiece. However, if you get the entire set, I would be willing to let them go at 4 gold apiece.
Oh, it's hard to say no to that. Okay.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Your doorway looking like disapproving.
I will go ahead and take the whole set in addition to the 2 books on dragons.
Yes.
Not, for the record, actually disapproving. That's just her face.
All right, go ahead and add those to your notes, and make a note while you're at it of the amount of gold you just spent as well.
Let's see if I can math. I'm getting the calculator. I'm not leaving this to chance.
Yep. Now, here you are. He wraps it all up for you in little bits of brown paper and twine, and hands it over to Sir Auric. Now, do take care of these, and if you have any more fire-related incidents, you know where to find me.
Morrook stalks over to the counter and, like, stares out her nose at him.
Hello. What can I do for you, my dear?
Do you have any books on bats?
Bats? Yes. At least one. Yeah. Anything in particular? Cooking? Care and... Okay, yes. Maybe? Give me just a moment. He sort of, flustered and sputters and begins to search through the stacks, and he turns off to the wrong direction before spinning back the other way and going into the non-fiction section. Bats, yes. Oh, ooh, cookbook. Not the same. And he sets that aside. You hear a heavy book being sat down.
I'm a vegetarian.
Of course you are. Good choice. Very healthy. Care and feed.
She
Bats.
turns to,
Bats, marsupials, rodents, and other mammals. Yes, here we go.
while he's off, like, mumbling and looking at books, she turns to Sir Auric and Volara in, like, what she considers to be a conspiratorial whisper, said, I'm not really a vegetarian, but I would like to.
And I'm gonna whisper over to him and be like, I really don't not like romantic novels.
He comes back
I'm
over.
gonna lean over and whisper like, I know both of these facts.
But don't tell Jarrell, damn.
So he comes back, and he's carrying... you're in luck. I have a care and feeding and just a manual on the general health and welfare of many different animals, all rolled up into one. Bats is a section right about here devoted about 15, 20 pages to it. There's also bits on squirrels, if you ever got the urge, mice, rats, and oh, hello, dear. Oh, what a darling little creature.
I may have encountered squirrels at some point, yes.
Fair enough. That's adorable. Let me see. Yes, 8 gold for this. It's fairly comprehensive, but it's been here for some time, and I would like to see it moved off the shelf so I can order more. So, for you, I'd be happy to offer it for an 8 gold discount, rather than the typical 12 that it normally goes for. Will that be sufficient? Well, here you are then. And he hands you a book on the feeding and care of many different mammals, up to and including bats and squirrels.
All right, well.
Useful things this episode.
Say again?
I said I'm so glad we're accomplishing useful things.
Such useful things. Such useful things. Hey, I may have actually found something useful with these books.
It's true, you have.
Okay.
It's useful in the care and feeding of your pets and your traveling menagerie. That's
very useful.
That's important
Speaking
too.
Of, is there a bestiary in this town?
Oh wait, I'm not done here at the
okay,
the
I'm
bookshop.
sorry.
So once Morok is finished with her purchase, I'm gonna go back up to him and just quietly, kind of be like, so I'm also looking for someone. She may have come through here, but I'm not entirely sure. Half elf, causes a lot of trouble, absolutely loves cheesy romance books.
Half elf cause a lot of trouble. You wouldn't happen to be talking about Cassandra? Because there was a young lady who comes in here from time to time, very pointy ears, very silver gold kind of blonde hair. She's always reading my romances, and she never pays for them, and she's always dog-earing the pages. I mean, if that's who you mean, then yes, I've seen her frequently. She's so frustrating.
That doesn't sound like her, unfortunately, but thanks for thinking on it.
I haven't seen anyone else really who would fit that description who frequents my shop, but well, hold on a moment. What did you say the name was?
Talus?
Talus. Any particular book interest?
Just the most tawdry of the romance books you would be carrying. I don't know what she's been currently reading, but she goes through them pretty quick.
Tawdry. Well, I mean, in fairness, I sell a lot of those. They're very popular. I'm sorry, it's just not coming to me. But if I see this person, I shall mention immediately you're looking for them. Shall I say where you're staying so I can send them your way?
No, because I don't know. We shouldn't be here that much longer, unfortunately.
Oh, is there anywhere to send you a message long term?
No, I'm not quite sure where we're heading off after this. I'd have to ask
I see.
the person in charge of our caravan.
Well, that is a shame. Caravan, though. Caravan, you say. Where are you traveling to?
Oh, just going back towards Candlekeep, but we're gonna make a lot of stops along the way.
So you're headed south?
Yes.
Oh. Well, if you're headed back to Candlekeep and you're headed south, then I actually have a shipment that I could use delivered to the caravan masters. If you wouldn't mind, since you've been so kind as to make these purchases. I would do it myself, but I'm afraid my shop boy has scarpered. I haven't seen him all day.
I don't think we're doing too much right now, so we could probably take it down to the caravan masters. What do you think?
Splendid. Lovely. Well, wait right here. And he turns around and he comes back carrying a crate that is clearly too big for him. And he's just like, here you are. Yes. Hey, can set this down now. Oh, my word. All right. So, this, sealed and as is, And here is the bill of lading, and if you could deliver that to the caravan master, he'll have it shipped off to Candlekeep. You won't need to do anything with it. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll tell you what, for your trouble, since you're going out of your way, here, take this. And he actually slides to you an additional pamphlet on dragons. It's an addendum to the book you didn't buy, but at least it might be some extra interest to you. I hadn't had a chance to stitch it into the spine of another one yet. Might be of use.
I don't know. This is an addendum, so I'd hate to split it up from the original book.
Well, how about a discount then? 10 gold for the other one, and you get the addenda, no extra charge.
Deal.
Well done then. And thank you. I really can't thank you enough. You're so kind.
I do my best. I do my best.
Well, and do remember the
Eric,
shop
I
if you
believe
ever
this is
need
your-
any more romances or books on dragons or bats or
She's got enough.
squirrels or anything.
I'll definitely keep you in mind.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell your friends. Sir? Miss? Yes. In any case...
Side-eyes him.
Morrook
was
does
that?
what?
Side-eyes him.
He sort of side-eyes back, but he looks very intimidated.
And I very much turn to Sir Eric and go like, "Why, I do believe we have a task for you, our gallant knight with very strong muscles. We just bought a bunch of tawdry romance novels for."
Yeah.
The price of silence, isn't it?
Try my best not to do the Ojo-san laugh, but it's not working.
As they're leaving the shop, Morrook says, definitely like intentionally loud enough to be heard, you know, most shopkeepers pay you to make deliveries. They don't get you to buy something else from them. Just a thought for the next one we go to.
I mean, we were
He looks
easily
very
paid
huffy
15
and
gold.
just goes, excuse me,
We were easily paid
madam,
15
I will
gold.
have you know that was a perfectly legitimate barter transaction just now. If you wish actual coin, you should say so.
I'm quite happy with our payment personally.
Thank you, darling. And what was your name, so I know to ask for you in the future if I need to, perhaps sell some of these delightful books?
My name is Valara.
Well, thank you, Valara. It is my great pleasure to see you and have you as a patron, despite your rude company. Good day.
Morrook glares at him.
I literally grab both of their arms.
He
and
glares
pull them
back.
right
He's
out
just
of the
like-
store.
Just angry shopkeeper daggers just right at you. Oh, ouch. That's,
Don't intimidate. We're leaving, children.
As you're
we're
leaving, he kind of... As you're leaving and you're having the staring contest, he just kind of goes... he tries very hard to look like he has something better to do.
Oh. Well, that was a thing.
Yeah, that happened.
I got lots of wonderful books though. Sir Ark got some exercise and some reading material.
Yep. Nope.
And we should probably take this big old box of books back down to the caravan master.
Morrook flips the her backpack open and starts sliding the book in. And there's like chittering noises inside the backpack, and she goes, "No, you can't eat it. This isn't food. It's just about food."
This is followed by a series of very curious chitters, and the book sort of slides back up very slowly out of the pouch in your direction.
No, you can't. Just don't touch it.
There's a very indignant chitter, and you see a tail, a very fluffy tail, flick out of your pouch and then disappear back into the pouch.
Don't whip your tail at me.
A single nut goes flying out of the pouch and bounces off your cheek.
That's your loss. I'm not picking it back up.
We're gonna save the world, guys.
Oh, we are. We so are.
I flip the backpack shut.
The chittering eventually falls silent.
Alright, I want to find Gary.
Alright. Go ahead and make an investigation check. Or perception, I guess. You really don't probably want to talk to people, do you?
No, I don't.
Alright.
Nice.
As you're stepping
There
out...
are 5 bestiaries, and I find all of them in one look.
As you're stepping out of the door, you immediately see... Somehow, you just... Down the streets, across the alleys, nothing really jumps out at you immediately, but you catch the faintest whiff of fodder. And it doesn't smell like stable fodder. It smells like... It smells almost like a menagerie, given how many scents and smells you're sensing. And as you follow your nose down 2 blocks toward the caravanning and loading docks, you see, off to one side, a gigantic enclosure lined with stone and masonry and a kind of fine mesh wiring that seems to shimmer almost and covers a vast menagerie and bestiary with a delightfully painted gold-lettered sign in black, which simply reads that this is a local bestiary of the city of El Terrell, and it appears to be very well kept up. There are 2 town guards out front, but the doors are open. People are coming and going. Small children are with them sometimes. There appears to be just inside the door off to one side, as you step in, a bookshop. There appear to be any number of creatures and things displayed on broadsheets and sketches, all available for purchase. Some of them as very dramatic poses, like wolves in mid-snarl or a peregrine falcon in mid-dive, and some of them are very scientific. They have more of a Vitruvian Man quality to them, as you see the creature's range of motion sketched out in great detail. And all of it available for bits of copper, bits of silver. It seems like this is a very busy place, used as much for education as for entertainment.
I point to the book area and nudge Valara, who probably already saw it anyway.
Yeah.
There might be items here.
You found a medieval fantasy zoo. That's what's happened here. You have found a very nice, well kept up zoo. That's what a natural 20 gets you.
I like her. She gets the good rolls. She finds the good places.
Does this bestiary have a food area where I might purchase food for my bananimals?
It does, in fact. You see that there is a there's a man in simple gray robes over a white shirt and pair of trousers, who is standing behind a range of baskets and a little desk off to one side. The baskets and jars that he has lining the stacks and cases behind him are all carefully labeled and separated. There is very strong scent of herbs and spices and of different seeds and grasses, and there's little bits of meat that have been dried and set aside, and each of these are labeled and set. There's a little elf girl running around with bright red hair and a little shock of blue streaked into it. which you see might be a feather, or maybe she's dyed her hair. You can't tell. She's moving too quickly. But she seems to be going back and forth, helping him fill the orders, and he's speaking with another patron who was just leaving as you walk up. Yes, come again. Thank you. Thank you. Celia, please, refill that. Yes, oh, hello. What may I do for you?
I have one wolf, one bat, and one squirrel.
Would you like to house them here? I believe we have room for such creatures. They'd be very well cared for. We'd be able to pay you handsomely.
I just need food for them.
Oh, for the cat. Lovely. I'm always happy to help someone who's taking care of such exotic collection of creatures all together on their own.
At the mention of food, the back door slips open and Bear comes, like, scurrying out of it and onto my shoulder.
And there's just this little squirrel that goes...
Yes! Talking about you.
The little tail whips around the other side of you and starts twitching back and forth. Oh, hello there.
This is Bear. He's a squirrel.
Bear the squirrel. I like that. That's good. I got that.
He thinks he's a bear, but he still eats nuts.
Fair enough. What sort of nuts do you enjoy the most, little one? One of these, perhaps? And
I
he...
extend my arm so that he can scurry down to the counter and figure out which food he wants.
My. Larger than normal, aren't you? How do you do, little one?
Stops eating.
Well, it's not just that. He's a bit longer and taller.
They grow them differently where I'm from.
So I see. Also seems... Let me see this. And he sets out 4 different nuts of different kinds. He's just going back and forth to different baskets and sets them out in front of Bear. Bear, of course, being the very tiny squirrel that is still slightly larger. So, let's see. What will he go for? And Bear immediately scoops up 2 of the nuts and begins to work on one. Well, there we go. He's clearly quite smart. The other 2 don't taste good at all. So, that'll be for how long? Are you looking for a week, a month?
For the squirrel and bat, dried fruit and nuts, provisions for a month. For the wolf, he gets a treat because we're in town, otherwise I make him go hunting and he hates it. So just one raw whatever cut of the day.
Raw whatever. Well, fresh out of whatever, but we do have, and if he enjoys it, you mentioned he doesn't like to hunt.
Oh, he's a coward.
Interesting. Then perhaps this might help him then. Would he be interested, do you think, in this bit, which is just deer?
I'm sure he'll eat it. I don't think it'll help his cowardice.
It might give him a taste for something. It's up to you, of course. Your training, of course, will lead him one direction or another, whatever you choose. So, let's see. 1 deer steak. He hands you a 5-pound deer steak. That'll be 1 gold, 5 silver. And, with regard to the rest, that will be about a gold's worth total for everyone else's nuts, berries, and fruits. So there you are.
So, round it to 3 gold.
Might as well. And as an extra for that, here. This might be useful for you. And he hands you, since you're spending 3 gold, but you're not actually getting 3 gold's worth. Here, have this. And he hands you several strips of leather and several small bells. Don't know if you'll find them useful, but perhaps you might. Especially since you have a wolf, you might want people to feel very comfortable around them. People tend to feel more comfortable with a collar of some kind. If not, I'm sure you'll find other uses for them, but it is up to you.
I hold one of the strips out to Bear and say, "What do you think?"
Bear just sort of looks at the strip, reaches out, chews on it for a second, holds it out again, and then grabs it and dives back into the backpack with his nuts.
Well, one of them might fit.
I suppose you'll have to size that one yourself. In any case,
There might not be much left.
Well, in the meantime, was there anything else I could answer for you? More information, perhaps help with directions? We have a lovely facility here if you'd like to see the bat house, or perhaps we do have a wolf den. They are quite tame. They're not at all dangerous unless provoked. We do keep them well fed. And I'm afraid we don't have a great number of squirrels in the city, but if you head out to the city park, you might actually find more there if you're interested.
Yeah, I already see enough of squirrels, bats, and wolves as it is. Do you have any druids here?
Druids? Yes. I believe one of our administrators actually is skilled in those arts. Her name escapes me. Turi. Yes. I never interact with her very much. I mostly deal with the food sales and what have you. But Celia, and the little red-haired elfin girl runs up, and she does indeed have a bright blue feather in her red hair. Yes, sir. Celia, take them to Turi's office. Turi should be, what time of day is it? Turi should be doing the, just coming in from her grounds by now. So, if they're interested in druid things, then perhaps that is exactly who they need to see. At once, sir. And the little redhead steps up and says, "Whenever you're ready."
I will follow her. Did Valara go look at the books?
Valara, did you go look at the books?
No, I just kind of chilled,
Okay.
waiting for her.
Then, off you go. So, Celia leads you down the hallway. She doesn't seem to be much of a chatterbox. She's just trying to get a job done. Once you arrive at a archway that leads out into a little bit of a small park-like area that looks out over several of the other naturalist houses. It is filled with plants. It's shaded for the most part, except for a little sun-facing terrace with a little parapet on the end where one might be able to comfortably sit in sun with several other people. And a not quite elderly, but definitely a woman of matronly years steps forward with very sun-darkened, roughened skin, silver hair pulled back in a tight bun, simple brown robes, and just a series of bones put into a necklace that she wears openly. But she's quite well put together, clean, has sort of an aura of authority. Not imperiousness, but a surety about her. Yes. Hello? Celia, who have you brought me? And she says, They were interested in meeting a druid, Bum. Oh, were they? Well, about your business, dear. Go on. Yes, what can I do for you?
In Druidic, I want to say, I am Morrook, and I am seeking counsel.
She blinks for a moment and then responds. I am Torino, and my counsel is yours for the asking. Please, come in. She leads you out onto the terrace a little ways, and you could see, looking out over these, some of these dug pits and naturalist houses, just rows and rows of beautiful trees and plants, and a riot of color and reds and blues and where the flowers are. Bees are buzzing and flitting everywhere. Butterflies are everywhere. And there's a sort of soft, comforting, damp smell of earth and greenery. There's a sense of quiet and serenity here, despite being in the middle of a bustling city. Well, it's rare that I meet another druid in the city. What may I do for you, Mororuk?
Your garden is lovely.
Thank you. I made my circle here as best I could. This is the grove I tend in order to protect both it and the balance of nature between it and the city itself.
This whole conversation is going to be in Druidic, so.
Yeah, so the rest of you are hearing them batter back and forth in this language you don't quite understand, and oh, I apologize. Was speaking in front of others. Do you wish them to remain, or?
They can stay the companions, but my counsel will be sought in Druidic.
Of course.
We can wait outside if you'd like more, Rook. It's no problem at all.
If you like, my dear, and your knight companion, there is a set of stairs that leads down from the terrace into a beautiful little walking path, if you'd like to look around while we speak.
If you have a library, Elvish one would go like books.
In fact, I do. You might find some of the newer editions toward the front. I tend to pile the older things as I read them into the back, but you know how it is. Books.
Of course.
They always pile up. In any case, just through there. And as you step back, it's clearly the study of someone who reads a great deal, but there's dirt, there's dust, it's a very used study. This is not the dust of long years of disuse gathering. This is dirt and smudging and bits of coffee stains on the edges of books and tea, and occasionally you'll find things dog-eared and very bent, but there's everything you could imagine in the life of a very busy person who finds reading to be a great solace and escape.
So after they leave, I will to Tarina.
Okay.
I'm having dreams of late.
Dreams?
Every 5 nights. Apocalyptic, the world destroyed by choking fumes and lightning storms and waves of acid. Horrible fire, and I've worked out that I'm probably dreaming of dragons.
It certainly sounds like the behavior of a malevolent dragon.
Every dream ends with 10 eyes glaring at me from the darkness, which sounds like Tiamat.
Oh dear.
How
long has this been going on, child?
Months. My clan sent me out to find an answer, and I felt compelled to travel to Greenest, which sort of confirmed my theories on dragons and Tiamat, but has given me no further answers or any direction.
What happened in Greenest? Tell me.
A blue dragon intact.
Blue.
And
In Greenest, you say?
in following it, we found a lair filled with black dragon eggs.
Now that is uncommon.
Mural of Tiamat on the wall, and also these, and she pulls out the amulets, the bone amulet, the ivory amulet, the soapstone amulet, and the wood amulet.
Oh my. These are quite precious. You found these in the shrine, you say?
Mm. Yes.
I collect such trinkets, both as a reminder and as a way of focusing on learning more. Scrying, you might say. I don't know if the holders of these necessarily would still be reachable, given that you seem to have found the shrine and survived. Given that it actively housed black dragon eggs, She seems to shudder briefly. I shouldn't like to think about it, but...
The eggs were destroyed.
Good. Fewer black dragons in this part of the world, the better.
The blue dragon was not, although the blue half-dragon we encountered was killed.
Half-dragon? There's a great deal more going on than you're telling me. It's not just dreams. You've had some kind of adventure, it sounds. What is going on?
I mean, that's the meat of it. My companions and I traveled to Greenest. We were faced by a blue half-dragon. A blue proper dragon destroyed most of the village. Some cultists came in and took all of their gold.
Great God.
And killed the half-dragon, rescued what we could, the people and their belongings from the cultists. Destroyed a clutch of black dragon eggs, but there's not much else. We're pretty lost.
My lucky preserve. Alright. Let me think a moment. Tell me, what counsel would you seek from me? What can I do to help you in your search for understanding?
I don't know, but I haven't seen another druid since I left my clan. And I needed to speak to someone.
I understand. I myself have not seen another druid for 2 years. I tend not to travel as much as I once did. Then let me offer what advice I can share, if you'll hear. Whatever you're tangled up in, my dear, seems ominous. Perhaps is too soft a word. If there are 10 eyes glaring at you from the darkness, and they are dragon's eyes, you are looking for 5 heads that go with them. Tiamat is not a... It's not a being to be trifled with. Tiamat is dangerous, old, and sealed away. She's not part of our world. But anyone who worships her tends to want very dragonish things. Of the bad kind, of the sort that a blue or a black or perhaps even a red dragon might want.
And dragons working together in consort, different colours.
It's very uncommon. They tend...
Is the...
In my experience, and I have some little, dragons of various colour only work together when they absolutely must. Their ego simply will not allow it for anything other than great need or great gain.
Would releasing and unsealing Tiamat fall under that category?
Heavens preserve, I hope not. Is this what you're trying to find out, dear?
It's all that I can puzzle out.
That's a terrifying thought. Have you sent word to your circle, to the rest of your clan?
I haven't had a chance yet, but I'm hoping I will be able to while I'm here.
Would you permit me for you?
Yes.
I'll write it all. Everything you've told me. If you have any personal missive, any word you'd like carried to someone in specific.
My father and mother let me know that I'm alright.
Where might I find them before I send this? Better yet, tell me, what's your clan master's name? I've met with many of the clan masters in this region. I'll send it to them and they can pass the word.
Jin. It's D-J-I-N, like the gin.
Fair enough.
She's not one. It's just a name.
Right. No, I know the one of whom you speak. It's been some decades since we've spoken, but I'll do what I can. In the meantime, come back from whatever it is you do next and keep me apprised. Tell me what you can, because if it's... Let's assume for a moment that it's not the end of the world, that it's not somehow trying to summon Tiamat. God knows that would be horrifying. God's preserve. But let's assume that instead what you've seen at work is all that it is. A black dragon, eggs at least, and a blue. Even if it's just that. A pair of powerful chromatic dragons could wreak havoc upon the countryside, upon cities, and this city is my charge, my watch. So, I ask you please, Morrook, keep me informed.
I will. And one last thing for your counsel.
Yes.
I haven't told my companions of my dreams. You're the first person outside of my circle I've talked to. Should I be telling other people about this, or keeping it to myself?
Were we not speaking as kin and kindred, people who walk the path of nature, of understanding and defending the natural world and the order that it brings? Hearing such a story, I might not necessarily believe, but with great respect I say this, as recognizing one kin to another. I will still look into the information you've given me about Greenest, but you've given me nothing you've said that sounds hollow or would give me any reason not to trust you. I would suggest only tell those you trust, because I would hate to see you called out as a madwoman. It makes it so much harder to convince people to do what needs to be done if they think that they cannot rely upon your judgment. I don't know if that's an answer for you, but in my experience, there's never a proper answer to such things. You simply must take them on trust eventually, or you'll never get anything out.
Thank you.
I hope that was helpful. You've certainly turned my day upside down. No, please, you are always welcome here. I'm always pleased to meet another member of the circle. And here.
Treats me as a druid and not as a half-orc.
Darling, druids come from all walks of life, all races, all kinds. You could have walked in here as a bird. I would have treated you as a person.
Thank you.
Maybe you should try that sometime. Fly in as a bird. You might enjoy it. Before you go, as I said, I do collect such things. The amulets.
If you want them.
I would be happy to pay for your trouble. It has been an interesting tale you've told me with them, but
Your kindness is paid in full enough.
you're certain? Surely you didn't collect these alone?
No, but I think the information gathered is payment.
As you wish, but we'll consider it a line of credit with me then. If there's anything I can do for you, I will repay you for the value that I place on these amulets. And, give me just a second.
On second thought, I think my companions might be rather cross with me if I turn that down.
I thought perhaps that might be the case, but whatever services I can provide within that scope, I'd be happy to do that instead. We could take it on trade, but these are very exquisitely carved. They're intricate, and they may provide insight into whatever it is we're trying to learn about. If I'm to help you, I would like to have these for my own studies, if nothing else. So I will pay you fair value for them.
If my companion Valara has found anything in your library of use, can we perhaps trade?
That seems agreeable. Why don't we speak to her? So she leads you over to the small 12 by 12 nook that she has set up as her library. And just covered in books. Would you, Valara and Sir Auric, like to make investigation rolls, or...
Yes.
Okay.
And
roll with advantage, Valara, because he's looking with you, so he gives you advantage on this. Oof.
On my best day, I'm so excited. There's so many books around me, and like topics I don't normally look at, so I'm so excited.
You know, it's funny as you're looking, and Sir Arik actually finds a couple of books of use that are about black dragons in specific, and actually cover something about the cult of the dragon a little bit.
Ooh.
But as you're looking, Sir Arik finds those books. You find a signed copy of all three of those romance novels bound together as a single volume. The first three volumes as one book.
Oh.
Signed. Your friend and I have just finished speaking. I hope you've been enjoying exploring my library. Have you found anything you might find useful?
Oh, I do believe our wonderful knight has found some very interesting books on black dragons.
And, oh, my own tome on the cult of the dragon. Yes, that would make sense, I suppose. Oh dear. That's a thought. I expect you'll be, interested in copies.
Yes, I would be greatly interested in being able to make a copy. If it's your own personal book, I could never take it directly from you.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'll send for a new one from Candlekeep. I'm headed that direction in any case, now that I've spoken with your friend here. Morrook, that particular volume, I value, or had originally purchased it for 30 gold. I'd be happy to pay the balance to you and to give you that book as well, and I will replace it on my trip to Candlekeep. The Cult of the Dragon, that one... There are only 4 copies of that one in particular. If you want that one, it's very precious to me. But I understand that you have need. I would be willing to let it go for, we'll say 75 gold. That should be plenty for me to be able to convince the holder of one of the other copies to make a separate copy and replace it. Is that acceptable to you?
Valar, for it, trading the amulets that we found, she'll take them in for study, see if she can glean anything further from them, and in trade she will give you whichever books you want and pay the rest in gold. Is that acceptable?
It's very acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alright then. Well, if you would like those two, then I suppose I should make a few adjustments. Alright, Morrook. You have some additional gold now.
Do we have a party group thing that we can put that in?
Yeah, because we had the party thing that also had the fabric and stuff.
Yes, you do have all of that.
Which we should totally sell the fabric now that we're in a city.
Yeah, it might be worth considering. Once she looks around, well, was there anything else I could do for you in the meantime?
No, I think that's it. We'll be leaving day after tomorrow. I can be found at... Which inn did we stay at?
I don't think I have that in my notes.
I regret to say my notes are gone. um,
Yeah, the notes tab is all. Oop.
We're staying at the Black Cat Inn if you need us before we leave town.
The Black Cat. I faintly know where that is. I'll find it. Don't you worry. Alright then. Okay.
I guess we go back to the inn for the night. I assume it's late.
Safe journey to you, Morrook.
Thank you. Sure.
She druid crafts for you a very simple pitcher flower and hands it to you. Be safe and come back.
Thank you.
So, on that note, given the time, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll all be back in just a few minutes.
Yay.
Like they have the sheet where you're like, okay, how close are you to this?
Apologize for keeping you all. I had to take a little extra time for myself because there is a tornado watch and warning in effect locally, so I had to take a little extra time to make sure everything was fine here. Sorry to interrupt the discussion. There was apparently some lively debate about teaching overseas.
Teaching English, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But looks like I'm not in the immediate path, and nothing has touched down locally, so... I mean, heck, I've got friends down the street who are grilling out on their back porch right now, even in all this rain.
That's generally how you do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Tornadoes? We ain't scared of no tornadoes.
Yeah, after Harvey, I was like, you know what, if it's my time, it's my time.
Right,
We
right,
were literally
exactly.
tornado warning, not even watch, but warning about 12 out of 24 hours in each day.
I went
Almost
through,
always when we were sleeping, but...
I went through Hurricane Andrew, and like the street we were on got hit like by like 4 tornadoes, you know. And I didn't know what it was, but when people would describe like the sound of it, I was like, oh yeah, because you know me as like a 15-year-old, I was like, yeah, it kept sounding like there was these freight trains passing in front of my house. They're like, dude, those are tornadoes. Like, walk outside your house, and I walk outside, and like half the stuff's all like devastation, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that's what that sound was.
Yeah, it was just, you know, Mother Nature shifting some earth around.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. No,
relocating some houses.
Sending the
exactly.
cows on vacation.
It's Hurricane Andrew being a little extra. You know?
That sounds right. So, Morrook just made an ally in the form of a local druid of the city. And the rest
got
of you
some
have
good
found
books.
some interesting reading material, which may or may not help you. Depends on what you manage to glean from your studies.
What time of day is it at this point? It was like lunch early.
It's about 6 by now. You guys have been walking all over the city. You've spent a lot of time shopping and pulling off various jobs.
Did we take the box of books to the caravan master yet?
You have not yet.
We should
You're pretty
try.
close to the place where you would go for that. This isn't smack in the center of the city. It's more toward the eastern edge, where a lot of the trade is done on the edge of town. But there's a great deal of greenery here. It's rather beautiful.
Can we also find a little quiet place to stop and pop open the box and just make sure the contents are, you know, they match what's on the list of things that's supposed to be in there?
Definitely not so that you can, I don't know, read them.
No. We need to
100%
make
not so I
sure.
can read them. I just want to make sure we're not, like, you know, transporting drugs.
That is true.
Like, it will really wreck our plans if we get arrested for, you know, doing it for dealing mules and drugs.
Do you want to do this? Do you want to
I'm
stop
gonna
off?
split off from the group at this point. I need to find a tattooist shop, and I'll meet you guys back at the end. But like in character, all she really says is, "I'll see you back at the end."
Okay.
All right.
Off.
And we're gonna, well, I'm gonna find a corner, and I guess I'm dragging Sir Eric because he's carrying the box, but,
Okay.
Yeah, let me help you with that. I'm gonna help you with that box.
Make a perception check with advantage, since Sir Auric is helping you try to find a good spot for this.
please no ones, please no ones. Oh, bless that advantage.
Nice.
As you're walking around, you find a spot that seems like it might be a good place to sit down and do this. It's a little alcove off to the side. It's a nice overhang to protect it from the rain, but no one seems to have set up shop in it at the moment.
Alright, so I'm gonna crack open the box.
Okay.
Do I
Sir
need to
Auric,
do
what is your contribution to this action?
I'm helping her open the box. I want to make sure that she's okay.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
What city are we in again?
El Terrell.
El Terrell.
Oh!
Oof.
Valara, you find precisely where the sealing wax has been applied and where the latches on the box are fixed with a small lock. You do see how you might easily lift the seal away if you were so inclined, but it is locked.
Oh, okay. Well, YOLO, I guess we're just taking it in.
Yep.
I don't feel like messing with it too much and having Ward get back, hey, the delivery person messed with it.
Yeah, that's true.
For a second,
Right,
I was so taken aback, I thought this might actually be the first time in one of my games someone has actually said the word YOLO, and then I remembered Tom. So, Tom, out there in Britain, wherever you are, if you happen to watch this, you were first.
You're not alone.
You're not alone anymore, though. Okay.
I'm the most learned of elf librarians. I've been studying up on the hip lingo of the city folk.
Okay, then. So, moving on. As you are...
Do you need me to make an investigation roll or something to find a tattooist shop?
I did make a perception check.
Perception.
You spend a good portion of your evening wandering around looking for a tattooist. Once you do find one, it is run by a very burly, faintly green-skinned fellow with a single large tusk poking out one side of his mouth, about like so. And the other side doesn't seem to jut out quite as much from his lip. He is he also seems to be sporting what either is a very creative hairstyle or a pair of curling horns that hug tight against the back of his head. It's difficult to tell which. And he is covered in tattoos. He's got an interesting facial scrawl of rigid geometric shapes that sort of gives him a very threatening and imposing look. His arms are banded and whorled, and what little you can see of his chest poking up from the inside of the vest he wears seems also to depict some type of monstrous beast that seems to be rising up from beneath his chest and just looking as though it's trying to reach out to grasp and claw at you straight off of him. He greets you with a great... He looks like he probably could be. He greets you with a great big smile and says, "Hello! What can I do for you?"
She pauses for a moment, looks at him, and then in Orcish, Gravinga Bravas, which would be Greetings, brother.
I can't hear you at all.
Hello?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I can hear.
What did you not hear?
Any of what you said. In Orcish, something.
Oh. In Orcish, she says,
That's perfect.
Gravinga Bravas, which is Greetings, brother.
Sorry, I'm a little rusty. I spend most of my time in the city. But, bees and good evening to you.
My apologies.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry. I don't have very many people to practice with anymore.
I don't see many, half-orcs around.
Neither do I.
Sorry.
But it is a pleasure to meet you. And maybe you can give me a few moments to practice. So, what will I be doing for you today?
She, kind of unhooks the leather that she's wearing and, her left arm is bare anyway, but like just whatever's up on her shoulder like takes off down to kind of just like the linen that she wears underneath the armor.
Okay.
Which is not a lot, but she's not super concerned about that because she's a druid that grew up in the woods.
Yeah, he's not, like, openly leering at you or anything. He's just very curiously, you know, this is part of his job. He works with people's bodies all the time.
Right. She's got vines tattooed up her left arm and across her shoulder.
Oh, that's some interesting detail work.
They are thick, black, thorny vines, and then from the wrist up, some of them have leaves on them. And she kind of sits down and says, I need 51 leaves added.
51?
51.
You planning to make this a multi-trip kind of visit?
Now, I'll come back tomorrow if you can't do it all in one.
No, I could do it all at once. It's just going to take me the rest of the night.
They're not, like, big leaves or anything.
No, just... Do you want it done quickly, or do you want it done well? I mean...
All right.
It's up to you. I'll take your coin and get it done for you either way.
Just try to match what's already there, whatever you can get done tonight, and then I'll come back tomorrow.
Perfect. Well, while I'm working, perhaps you can help me brush up on my Orcish. And he offers, he just sort of gestures past him and offers the way into the shop, and you pass the evening for the next several hours being tattooed, and it takes him a little bit of time. It's halting at first, but it starts to come back to him quicker and quicker as your conversation carries on. He's very interested to hear what you have to say, and his Orcish is it's not letter perfect. It's got a bit of city slang to it, but it comes back to him as you speak.
Okay.
All right. Jarrell, what have you been doing all this time?
I've been sitting around in the inn for the most part. Just relaxing. Kicking back.
Playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Not sure that exists, but probably could find a way to summon something.
You never know. You draw the wrong card from the wrong deck, and...
Alright, there are many things involved here.
But that's so fun.
Nope. Nope, not fun.
So, alright. So you're spending some time just gaming at the end?
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, in that case... Give me just a second. Okay, I'm gonna have to make sure I load that table next time because it's just not showing up. That is okay though. Go ahead and give me a. I believe it's a D12. 1 second. Sorry about that. Had to actually see if I could find my hard copy of the book. So you've spent your day carousing, gaming, just generally enjoying the local color. You've been having a pretty grand time. And while you're doing this, if you would please, roll me a D100 plus 4.
Let's see.
You can just type it out, it'll be the easiest way to do it. Slash die 1D100 plus 4. 25. Okay.
Okay, I'm back, sorry.
Welcome back. As you're going about your business, you've been spending your time in the Black Cat Inn. You've been dicing, you've been carousing, you've been rowdy. And suddenly, after a rough game of cards, where you have been holding your own, you win a hand, and a man looks up at you from across the cards and he says, "That's it. I have had just about enough of you." And he kicks the table forward hard enough that it hits you in the sternum. "You've been cheating this whole time."
I don't know what you could possibly mean by that.
And as you say that, you see several other guys get up and start to close in around you a little bit. "We don't like cheats around here. And I in particular don't like cheats. They got the devil in them."
The devil, eh? Are you sure it's not you who's cheating?
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Let's see. Persuasion. There it is. Definitely the best of this.
One of the bigger toughs kind of looks over and goes, "Hey, the boss says you was cheating. You was cheating." And one of the little guys goes, "I mean, he kind of makes a point. I mean, you always win, boss. It's a kind." "Shut up!"
It's not my fault you suck so bad that you lose even when cheating.
"Oh, I've had about enough of this fella. Get him!"
Yeah,
Roll
I
initiative.
bet you have.
Roll initiative.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm finding it.
This is why we don't split the party, damn it.
I am the fastest person.
Oh, good. Oy vey. And this is what happens. Hang on a minute. I'm hearing some knocking. 1 second.
I also stepped away because I was hearing some knocking, but his might be a tornado. Mine was just someone's fixing their bike. I'm like, what's that noise?
Obviously, they're in the wrong.
Sorry about the hold-up, gang.
Are you about to blow away?
No, that was nothing too serious. Let me see if I can get this combat tracker open.
Don't
Oh
die.
lord, we leave him alone for like an afternoon, and we get some tawdry romance books to read, and he doesn't die. I mean, we get some very serious study materials concerning our current quest. Yes, yeah.
that thing.
Getting a lot of lag on Fantasy Grounds right now.
I'm totally gonna feel guilty now that we were out getting those books, but then I'm gonna read them and be like, well,
You know, he got himself in his own mess. He can get himself out of
yeah,
that.
none of us told him to gamble, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, we might have encouraged him, like, when we had to prove our worth back last episode, like...
Yeah, but that
We never said we had to keep gambling.
True, very true.
yeah. And we all would have rested our heads better if you didn't just say that right now. So.
Okay, surprisingly, Jarell, you go first.
Oh man.
These
Yeah, I'll go to
guys-
what?
These guys are... They look like they've been in their cups for a little while.
Yeah, but they have.
Coins have
that's a
gone
tough one.
scattering across the table when the table got kicked into your chest. You are sitting down, so you're prone, technically. You're going to have to stand up and get moving. Or you can fight from a sitting position. It's entirely up to you.
Throw your magic sword around, it's fine.
Yeah, from, you know, your chair.
I mean, that would be pretty badass if he's just sitting in a chair. Kind of like throwing
that's-
darts in a bar, but with a magic sword.
Yeah, I seem to
know.
remember a scene just like that in X-Men First Class.
That was my favorite X-Men movie.
Let's see. I am going to head over to. Oh, cool! I can target straight from the combat tracker. That's neat.
Yes, that has always been the case, and I love it.
I've always been using the tokens. Let's Are they wielding anything, or are they just fist fighting?
They appear to be coming at you with their fists.
Okay. Let's try and keep this on even footing for now. So I will stand up and rush this first thug over here. And I hit them for 3 damage.
Okay.
You sure you want to keep going?
Alright.
Let's see.
Do you want to move, or...
Let's see. Abilities. Dang, I don't have my extra attack yet. Next level. Next level. No, I'm pretty good right here.
Okay. He gets you for 6 points, Jarell. Forgot to target you first, sorry. he's going to wind up and take another hit at you. Hitting AC 19. It's going to be... Yep, still gets you. This time he deals another 3 damage. So you take a couple of quick jabs to the face, and it is unpleasant. Second thug comes after you from the other side. Dealing another 4 damage to you. Hitting AC 18, he gets you too. Both hits. Take another 5. These guys are pretty focused on beating you down. It's all fists so far.
Clearly. Their fist doing so much damage.
It's 1d4 plus 2. They're just hitting you a lot because they get 2 attacks per round. Ouch.
It might be time to stick them with a pointed end and screw the even footing.
All
Cheryl,
right.
it's your turn. You've got 3 guys wailing on you. And a busted table in between.
I am going to materialize my greatsword and swing it at this barrel fellow. I am on the wrong tab again. There we go. And I will action surge to do that once more. Those are not very high ACs. Those ones should probably be rerolled, but too late for that first one. But I will reroll the second one.
Okay, go ahead.
Nope,
Still a
it's
1.
Still 1.
Nothing changes. Alright, you gonna move? You're surrounded on 3 sides, so...
Yes, I will move so that I'm not surrounded so much.
Okay, now you're surrounded by tables in a bar, and there's a lot going on around you. There's just bits of smashed table on the ground in front of you. Barolf is standing on top of that. There's a couple of guys who've closed in on either side of you. How do you want to move?
I will take a step backwards so that I'm not surrounded entirely.
Just 5 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, so Barolf's no longer adjacent, but the other 2 guys are. Alright.
Something like that, yes.
Alright. They look like they're going to start to try to move in and take a swing to you, but Barolf kind of staggers a little bit. He just kind of... And he looks like he might actually be winding up for a punch. Right about this time, a guard captain steps around the corner into the bar, takes a look at the scene, and goes, "Halt! What's this nonsense?" The two thugs kind of straighten up a little bit, and they kind of throw an elbow at Barolf. Barolf kind of turns around and looks and goes, "They'll get you next time." Nothing's going on, Captain. Just a disagreement. Disagreement? Looks like a flat-out brawl. All of you, back to the barracks now. Barolf and his two thugs, who you now know to be guardsmen off duty, follow their captain's directive and leave. And between the two of you, he's looking the worse for wear.
This isn't right.
What happens when you leave Jarrell by himself?
The fourth,
100%
the
what
fourth
happens.
young man who was with them, but who didn't throw any punches, sort of leans over and picks up what money was left for him from the ground on the table and says, "Sorry about that, mate. Here, get yourself cleaned up," and he gives you 5 gold. Just maybe keep a low profile for the next few days. Sorry. And he turns and he leaves.
Not exactly the most low profile character.
Okay, you definitely didn't make a friend. Right about the time,
Characters makes an ally, another makes an enemy.
2 of us made allies, 1 of us made an enemy this round.
True, you made an ally too.
Mhm.
The women in the group, being polite and logical, make allies.
I will have a vast network of booksellers at my command.
I didn't get into a fight or almost die this time, so I'm calling her to win.
You know what?
And you got your books?
And I got my books. I mean,
you
your
helped
books.
me, yeah.
I helped you with your books, yeah,
Right,
not.
books that you definitely aren't planning to read.
No, I don't. I read. What is that? I don't even know what that. I don't even know.
Book? What's a book? You don't
What's
know
a
what a
book?
is.
Yeah, book. What? What are you talking about?
speaking of which,
Where are the
right about
pictures?
the time that Jarrell is sitting down to his card game with Barolf, Valara, you and Sir Arik arrive at the caravan master's office with your cargo.
Cool. And so I'm gonna edge. I will part the seas of people because I'm assuming it's a busy office, so I will lead
At
the
this
way.
time of day, not as much as you'd think.
Well,
it's
okay.
it's thinning out. There's maybe 4 or 5 people in the office, but it's a fairly big room. But it's mostly just people who are working there, keeping track of the comings and goings of all of the different bits and pieces that are moving through town. One of them looks up and says, "Oh, package going?"
Yes. We're here to deliver a package going to
Right.
Candle
Bill of
Key.
lading.
I pull it out and I hand it off to him.
Thank you. Right, very well. Packaging fees to be billed to the bookshop. Fair enough. Alright, you're lucky. You don't have to pay anything. He has taken care of it. In the meantime, thank you for your time and service. Was there anything else?
No, that'll do.
Alright.
Actually,
Boys, get
is
this loaded
there-
up. We gotta go.
I do actually have a question. Is there a caravan coming from the south and heading north, heading through here possibly? It would be stopped right now.
Oh, there's about 4 of those right now. 2 of them headed west, headed for the coast. One of them is about to head further north up toward the Utgard Mountains, and I'm not really sure where this one's headed on particular. Anyway, yes, there are several.
Was there any that kind of had some slightly off people? Maybe a lot of purple cloaks rolling through here?
He just sort of blinks at you when you say, you know, horrible people. He was like, ma'am,
Not horrible people,
it's
just
the road.
Just strange.
There's a lot of strange people on the road, and purple is a expensive color, but not an especially uncommon one. Listen, if you're that interested and you're curious, maybe speak to one of the loaders. I have not seen anything like that today. I'm just moving paper. Next!
Thank you. And we're gonna step off to the side, but we're gonna go find us some loaders.
There is a stevedore outside who looks like he's on break.
Get him to talk.
He seems to be smoking something that's kind of really pungent.
All right, so let's go ask him some questions, Sir Arik.
Yes, let's do that.
The two most square people in this party. Let's go. Ask them
Let's
some
do this.
questions. All right, so I'm gonna go up, I guess, and be like, hey, you wouldn't happen to like handle some of the freight? Like, we would have to see people who are in the caravans, would you? I'm looking for a really good friend of mine, and I know she's headed north, but I'm not entirely sure which caravan she's on.
Is that so?
But I know that they were like a lot of purple cloaks, and they were coming from the south.
Right. Must be a really good friend if she couldn't tell you which caravan she'd be on.
Okay, so 100%. The last time we were together, and when she told me the information, we'd had a little bit to drink. So she told me where she was going, but I was a little drunk at the time, so I don't quite remember.
Make a deception check.
Come on, fingers crossed. Come on, +3 charisma. Oh no.
Aha. Well, I mean, I always like seeing friends get back together, so, purple, right? Purple robes?
Yes.
Seems to me it's difficult to remember everything you see out here. It's a busy place. I don't know.
Are you trying to like haggle us for money? Because it's not going to go very well for you.
They're trying. No,
I feel like there might be a coin or two
offering
that
a
just might
fee for
happen to
service.
pop out
If
of
you're
my
gonna ask
pocket.
me to go out of my way to go look for you, to find
Go out of your way to reach something in your brain. You better stop smoking that stuff,
Arik?
whatever you were smoking.
hey,
Arik,
this is completely
stop.
legal and it is delightful. And you
I have no doubt that it is.
Arik.
He just blows a big
No.
cloud of smoke right at you and goes, "Listen, I get to go back off my break in just a minute. If
You
want me
do,
to
and
be
it's going to
looking
be really
around-
fun. It's going to be really fun to pulling that pipe out of your mouth. You know, when it's jammed in your teeth. Would you like that?
Can I smack
Make an
Arik, please?
intimidation check."
Watch me just blunder this one.
What to say? Oh, okay.
Nice.
He kind of goes, all right, I can see you mean business. Tell you what, not because of you, but because your friend is so nice, and you clearly could, use some of that. I hope she rubs off on you, although not too much, because honestly, who would want to rub up on you?
Keep talking,
Listen.
pal.
Miss, as a favor to you, I'm going to tell you, I did see some purple cloaks. That caravan right over there. That
Do you
one.
happen to know where they're going, per
I-
chance?
I don't know where they're going because I'm not going with them. But as it happens, I could go and help them load some packages in a minute. Maybe I could find something out for you. Just to be nice, you understand. Wouldn't want to be accused of being uncharitable.
Oh heavens, no! I would never accuse someone of that.
No.
And I just, my purse, it has this hole in it, and these gold coins just love falling out of it. And just, I mean, I might wait here a little bit if perhaps there's a direction I might hear about.
You should have that seen to. You know where you could
Why
you know where
should
you
I?
could go to maybe fix that tomorrow morning. There's
Where?
a carriage and cargo shop. They fix up purses and things like that. Really
see.
inexpensive. They're very nice. Could stop by there tomorrow. Baggage and tackle. It's pretty close to the Black Cat, you know it?
I do actually know that inn. I will definitely stop by there tomorrow.
Say tomorrow morning. You know, after breakfast. Give folks some time to settle in, maybe talk a little.
Definitely. Thank you for such a good recommendation to get my bag fixed, sir.
How much gold do you drop in front of him?
Drop 1.
He picks it up and says, "You're welcome. Your friend not so much, but you're nice."
That wasn't so hard, was it?
I
know.
literally smack him. It's not even just on the arm. Just like, no, stop.
He just kind of grins at you, puffs another cloud of cigar smoke into your face, and walks off.
Are you sure you don't want me to ring him for some more information? You know, maybe he left something out.
And I lean over most for after we get the information where it's fucking going, you idiot.
Alright, fine.
I'm good, I swear.
Alright then. Alright. So, everyone, at the end of the day, makes their way back to the Black Cat Inn. You wander in, you see Jarrell looking somewhat the worse for wear. One of the tables is being cleared up, and it appears to be smashed a bit in the middle of the room. There's beer everywhere. Jarrell, you take about 40 silver off the floor that was abandoned from the game.
Alright.
And I'm guessing we just step in and see this chaos.
Well, it's not chaos anymore. It's pretty well managed,
Well,
but
this destruction and beer and just Jarrell sitting there, and you're going like,
yeah. Jarrell, what are you doing?
I'm just kind of sitting there.
just proud like a cat, I'm guessing.
Not
but
even
just
bothering
like,
to, like, you know, hold a beer to your head and cool it off, or have the presence of mind to look chagrined.
Nah.
You're lucky. You're so good at throwing that sword of yours, sir. Which probably is how you survived this. But you know, try not to make too much of a fuss.
I didn't do that this time.
The owner
Look around.
wanders by and goes, "I swear, those guys get drunk more and more and more at this place, and one of these days they're actually going to end up killing somebody. I've told their captain. This is stupid, but they come here anyway. I'm sorry you got messed with, sir."
You should just stop serving them alcohol.
It's the city
Oh,
guard.
don't
You
apologize
stop
to
serving
him.
the
You
city
probably
guard.
encouraged
It's
him.
bad for business.
Fair enough.
I'll bill him for the table. That should be enough.
Nice. Wait, can he can he have one more for that table, kind sir?
I mean, yeah, sure. Welcome back, brother.
Consider it a-hole tax.
Fair enough. Listen, Good to see you all. Glad to have paying customers. Just, try not to get beaten up quite so much. And if you see those guys coming while they're in here, holler real loud. I'll send for the captain again. Maybe give them the bum's rush out of here before they can throw too many punches. You want me to send you for a healer or something?
That might be nice. Yes.
Alright, I'll call somebody. He kind of snaps his fingers at one of the bar attendants and sort of points at the table and does the universal symbol for around. And they come back with ale and set down some drinks for the three of you on a different table. Moruk, it's probably another hour before you come in. It's getting pretty late. Everyone's long since gone to bed by the time, unless you guys really want to stay up that late.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely up to your characters whether you would want to wait up or not. You don't actually know where she went.
Right.
I would definitely, my character would wait up to at least make sure that she gets back all right.
Anyone else?
I've probably been sipping a beer or two and enjoying some classic literature by the fire. But
Yes.
near the entrance, so that way I can kind of see, comings and goings. But like in the most tsundere way of like, I'm not waiting up for what I'm waiting up for, but I'm not waiting up for. I'm just waiting.
So I think we determined last time that Puck stayed at the inn.
Yeah, Puck was staying at the end.
Well, Puck is probably curled up at your feet if you're by the fire.
I'm okay with this turn of events.
Okay.
Moira comes in and her left arm is like kind of bloody looking.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job cleaning you up. It's not too bloody.
There's always a little bit of like just little prickles that come up after you.
It's true.
It's gonna be bandaged, it's gonna look a little sore.
Yeah, it definitely looks a little sore. Did he get all of it done or just partial?
Every bit of it.
All right. So it's going up onto her shoulder then.
Whatever you
She
wanted
walks
done,
in.
he managed to get done for you.
She walks in, like looks around the room, notices the smash table.
By the
Notices-
time you get there, there's no sign of the smash table. It's gone.
Oh, okay. Walks in, looks around, nods to Sir Arik, nods to Valara. Is Jarell still down here?
Yes.
Nods to Jarell, whistles at Puck, and goes upstairs to her room.
Puck hops to his feet and immediately dutifully follows after you.
And a little bit of my heart just
I'm sorry.
Puck sort of looks back and goes, because it's so warm over there.
oh.
He was enjoying the attention. Puck follows you up to bed.
Okay. I go to bed.
Long rest for everyone, I assume?
Yee.
Yes.
Long rest for all.
All right. Well,
Definitely.
just another day in D&D.
Drunken brawls, buying books, sitting by the fire with a nice pupper.
All right. Well, you all managed to sleep through the night uninterrupted, safe in your beds. There is, of course, just a little trouble. As Jarell, you are seen to by a healer within the hour. You don't have to pay them very much. they're honestly just happy to talk to you if you buy them a drink, and they end up taking care of things for you. In the meantime, you heal up, bandaged, and substantially better off than you were before.
Alright.
And the next morning, you all awaken fairly early. Get up for breakfast. And what do you do?
Well, I believe I have an after breakfast appointment, so I'm gonna have a nice hearty breakfast. Make sure I have that purse of mine that really needs some repair work done. And also, you know, my spell book, because I'm you never know who you can run into. And I'm gonna roll off to that, what is it? That place where I can get my purse fixed. It's just right around the corner from the Black Cat.
It's not very far.
Yeah.
Do you go by yourself?
I don't know, does anyone want to come with? Like, I'm cool going by
For
myself.
those of us who were not there, do you like let us know what's going on, or?
I guess it's more of like a look over the breakfast table at Arak, like, yo, you want to go punch someone?
Yeah, I'm going. I want to see how this one turns out.
I had a feeling.
I think Morrock's probably just gonna follow along because she doesn't have any other plans. She makes Puck go with her this time.
Pupper.
I'll
Why?
go along with.
She tells her.
Oh gosh, we have the whole squad.
I don't know what we're doing, but I'll go along.
I feel like the whole squad might be a bad idea.
Is there something you're doing?
Well, I'm following a few leads for some information about possibly where the caravan's going, the one that we're gonna try and, you know, get in with. So, only me and Sir Ark were there yesterday when I was cutting this deal. So it might be better to not double our numbers. That might make him a bit worried about giving us information. Especially with such a cute pupper as Puck. Just, he'd get distracted, want to pet him, and forget all about the information he's supposed to give us.
Perhaps we should wait outside then in case you need backup.
That sounds okay. Maybe not directly outside the tack shop, but maybe like one or two stores down. You know, act casual, look like you're cruising the wares, and if you hear us, you know, call for you, you can come.
Alright.
Does that sound alright for you, Jarell, since it sounds like you want to tag along as well?
That sounds good.
Alright, well then I suppose once we're done with breakfast, we can be off. Alright, anyone else have commentary to add? Or breakfast to eat?
I ate breakfast, but I didn't think it needed commentary.
I'm not much of a breakfast guy. I'm more of a lunch guy.
It's the most important meal of the day, man.
I sleep through breakfast.
No.
Well, if you slept through breakfast, Jarell, then, I mean, you're not here for this, so you're not
No,
here
like,
with us.
normally I do.
Alright. So you head down the street, you take a turn at the street light, and you head toward the Tap and Tackle.
Right, and I'm gonna do a casual, very casual glance around to see if I spot our 100% not weed smoking loader boy.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh!
As you're approaching the shop, you catch a whiff, and it immediately recalls to mind the gentleman you met before. The very pungent leaf he was smoking from the day before. Kind of heady aroma, very earthy tone. And as you glance down a side alley behind the tap and tackle, you see a plume of smoke wafted around the corner. Too small to be a fire or a torch.
Going to casually walk that way and approach the source of the smoke, who I'm guessing is our fine gentleman who looks very familiar.
As you make your way down the alleyway, you can hear voices. There's a little bit of laughter, a little bit of chatter. After which, the fellow who you met from just the other day turns and walks around the corner almost smack into you. Oh! Hey. How you doing?
Doing alright. I was wondering if perchance you knew of a good place to go to get a purse, perchance?
As it happens, you're outside
so...
just such a place. In fact, I was just talking to these folks. Some very nice folks came through here. They're looking to get some wagons fixed. Got a couple of axles and a trestle.
Oh.
Enough replacements to, stand them up close to a 500-mile journey. Very long way.
Oh, it's quite far indeed.
Almost as far north as, say, somewhere like Baldur's Gate. That's about how far that'd get you. Maybe a little further.
That is quite far indeed.
I mean, gets you a lot of other places if you're heading a different direction.
True, true. But I suppose if you're heading north, the only place you could really head to in that direction really would be Baldur's Gate. That's far.
Yeah, along that road. Maybe further north than that after they get there, but don't know. I mean, it sounds like a beautiful trip.
It does, quite scenic.
Well, it was nice running into you. You seem a very nice person. I'm
quite nice indeed.
Gonna be about my business, but it was very nice running into you. And Sir Auric, as he walks past you, he thumps his knuckle, holding the cigar, right at the dead sternum of your chest plate, and then just keeps walking.
You'll lose it next time, buddy.
Swear you
I
hear
have
the
no
damnedest
monetary
things in these
reason
alleys.
to stop you.
And he just walks off and disappears around the corner.
Okay. Well, now that you've had your chance to feel manly and, square off with Guy, let's go back and possibly talk with Leosin if we can find him and let him know that we kind of know where they're headed.
I just didn't want the guy to take advantage of you. Clearly, he was like, I was trying to play my intimidation game.
I was expecting to pay more money, so this is actually quite a deal.
Yeah.
But, I think I can fix my purse on my own, so I don't feel like I need to actually patronize this establishment. So why don't we go meet up with Morrook and Jarrell and, finish our shopping and then run into some other acquaintances.
That's a good idea.
Heading back out into the street, Morrook and Jarrell are easy to spot. They're waiting for you outside the building.
We're really obvious.
We stand out the least. What are you talking about?
And also I have In fact, when you come out of the building, you just see like the crowd is sort of giving us a 5-foot berth as they walk past where we're standing in a doorway.
We are the most inconspicuous people ever.
Super inconspicuous.
Just the most casual, like the definition of acting casual.
We're trying really hard, like Morrook is leaning against a door frame, like,
Just examine your fingernails.
Yeah, it's not working.
No, it's not. I'm just gonna kind of like do that cough, like, and then just kind of motion with my head, like, come on, let's go.
Right.
But I'm gonna keep walking. Like, I'm not stopping for y'all.
We follow.
that gift though.
Right? Those of you out there in internet land, you know exactly what I just sent them. Come on.
Acting casual.
As the two of you were standing out front of the shop, a couple of passerby just kind of stare at you like... Anyway, so, as you take your time and you make your way back toward the inn, is there anywhere else you'd like to go? Anything else you'd like to do before you meet up with Onthar and your monk contact, Leosin?
How are we on, like, supplies, you know, like food and such? Like, do we need to worry about it right now? Or are we solid?
Well, according to what I'm reading here, it looks like you guys have a lot of books.
Yeah. A lot of books.
Jarrell has an extra chainmail. Apart from that, seems like an awful lot of extra weapons you've picked up over the course of your adventure.
Well, why don't we go ahead and
We
sell
have
the
that
dead weight?
cloth as well.
Yeah. So let's go hit up the marketplace, do some selling. Maybe freshen up on our rations.
Do we
If
want
needed.
to call it there for the night and then we can do shopping? Send you what we need?
If you like. Yeah, you're right. It is just about that time. So this is an excellent spot. We'll go ahead and call it there then, with you guys having just found some new information and about to go and meet with your Harper contacts.
Yeah.
Thank you out there in internet land for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you like the new layout and how everything seems to be flowing. I borrowed this from our illustrious DM Josh, who was kind enough to help me get this set up so that it displays everyone a bit more cleanly and shows off the roles and gives everyone a good chance to see the combat tracker and whatever maps I put forward. But in the meantime, thank you again for coming. I hope you all had a good time, and I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks' time.